I'm Shelley Turner with the Builderall team. In this video, I'm going to show you how to edit the footer area of your site. As you can see, I'm logged in and in the Builderall editor. We've already edited the header, and now we're going to scroll down to the footer, and we're going to start making changes to the footer. Now remember that every single page in this layout will have the same header and the same footer. So whatever you do to the footer is going to appear on every single page in this layout. So the first thing we need to do is figure out what kind of elements we have on the footer. And to do that, all you do is right-click on each element and look at that top area of the pop-up box. So this element is an image. This next element, if I right-click, it tells me it's a text box. And then right here, I have all text boxes. And then this item right here is a text box. And then this item, if I right-click it, it tells me it's a form. Okay, that's going to be dealt with just a little bit differently. And then this item here is a text box. Down here we have another text box. And here we have a social network bar or a social media bar. So several different types of elements. We're going to go ahead and work with all of them to make changes to the footer of our page. So the first thing I want to do, it's a really easy thing to do, is I'm going to take this image, I'm going to right-click it, and I'm going to choose Change Image. And I'm going to change it to the same image that I have at the top, which is that white logo, and click Confirm. And so now I've got the logo in there. It's a little bit small, so I'm going to make it a little larger and move it up just a bit. And now I can move this text area up a little bit closer to kind of scrunch in and conserve some space. And then if I want to change the text inside there, I just double click to put my cursor in there, and then I can start editing that information. I'm going to just change a little bit in here. So all I did is add some text that says, learn how to take care of yourself by learning more about fitness and health. So once I'm done editing, I just click outside of there. And that moves my cursor out, and then I can move that text box wherever I want to move it. The next thing I'm going to do is make some changes to this area right here where it says Contact Us. I'm going to actually move those items closer to the center, and I may line them up with that logo at the bottom of the logo. And each time I move it, it's hard to get it to line up exactly the way I want it. So what I'm going to do is activate my ruler up here, and then I'm going to click on here to put a guideline. And I'm going to put that guideline exactly where I want the left side of those items to be. And then I'm going to click each item and drag it, and it will snap to that grid line. Just like that. Now I don't have to keep all those elements in there. I can delete any of them. I can also copy any of them. If I want to make another box, I can click on that box, and then I can use my keyboard shortcuts. On the PC, to copy is Control-C, and to paste is Control-V. On the Mac, it's Command-C and Command-V. So I can copy and paste this text box, and it creates another one for me, and then I can double click in there, put my cursor in there, and change any of that information. If I want to get rid of a box, I just click right on the box, and then I can choose the delete button on my keyboard, or I can right click and go to the trash can right here to delete it. The next thing I'm going to do is line up these items here. So I'm going to click and drag this up to line up with the Contact Us. And again, I can put grid lines in there to make sure that it's lined up exactly like the way I want it. So I'll click Contact Us and line that up. Then I'll take this item and actually snap it to. And then the next thing I'm going to do is move this form up and this text box up. So that just kind of lines everything up a little bit and causes it to look a little bit more clean and organized for your website visitor. Another way to move things up quickly is using the arrow that appears when you click an item. So if I click where it says Newsletter Subscription, you'll see that there's an arrow right here. Everything that's directly underneath that arrow, if I click that arrow and drag it, it will move it all together. So if I click and drag here, everything that's directly under that will actually be moved all together. And that's a neat way to move everything underneath an element, to move them all together without having to put them into like a transparent box and move them together. Same thing here. If I click Contact Us and I grab that arrow and move it, you can see that everything that's under that will move with it. One of the ways that I move everything is I'll go in here to the plus sign and grab a box and then go down to where it says lines. And right here is a horizontal line. I'm going to go ahead and choose just any one of these horizontal lines. We'll choose the blue one so it'll stand out. So there's our blue horizontal line. I'm going to click and drag it, and I'm going to move it over here. And remember, it's given me that message that I've changed something from the body to the footer. It changes the structure of the page. I just click Don't Show This Again, and OK, I've got it. And now what I'm going to do with this line is actually grab it and extend it all the way across the screen. What that does for me is it puts everything right here underneath that line. So now I can actually click and drag it, and everything moves together. And then I can drag it back up and put it in the exact position that I want it, carrying everything with it. Once I get everything the way I want it, I can actually click that line, and what I'm going to do is choose to hide it. So when I click the hide button, it's hidden from me. I can't see it, but it's actually still a part of my website. And when I need that line again, I just go to this little area right here where the eyeball is, where it says Show Hidden Elements. When I click it, that item, the horizontal line, is actually showing, and I can unhide it, and it will put it right back so I can use it again if I need to. So this is a really fast way of moving a lot of items on your website all at one time, and then when you're done, just hide that element and you can use it again later. So I'm going to go ahead and hide it, and it will be available to me later if I need it. The next element here is another text box. I'm going to go ahead and place that a little bit higher, and this is where you can put your copyright information. So if I double click in there, it puts the cursor in there. I can change the year to 2018, and I can also change the text. Plus, I can add the copyright symbol. Now, the copyright symbol is, there's a way to make the copyright symbol appear. And to do that, all you do is hold down your alternate key on your keyboard. And while you're holding the alternate key down, type in the number 0169 on your number keypad. So hold the alternate button down, and at the same time put in the numbers 0169. And when you do that, the copyright symbol appears, and you can use that in your copyright area, which is right here on your footer. And then I can type in my company name. So now I've got the copyright symbol, the year, and the company name all in this area. And remember, the copyright symbol, to get that, hold the alternate key down and type in the number 0169 at the same time. The next area is the social media area, and I'm going to click and drag that up here, and then I'm going to go ahead and edit, and I'm going to edit the same way that I edited the top one. So I'm going to right click, and I'm going to go to Edit, and this is where I can change the size, the spacing, and the position, whether it's horizontal or vertical. Once I get that set the way I want it, I'll confirm, and then I'll go right click again and click Image. And this is where I choose which images I want on this social media bar. So I'm going to choose Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, and I'll get rid of Google, and I'll get rid of Pinterest, and I'll get rid of Instagram. Now on each individual icon, we can click right on it, and I can put the title, which appears when they hover over the icon. I can put the alt image text, and then I can put the link for where that Facebook page is actually at. Same thing with Twitter. I just click right on the image, and then I can put in the Twitter information. Same thing with YouTube. I can put in the title, the alt image text, and then the link to the YouTube channel. Once I get all that configured, I just click confirm, and you can see that it changes that social media bar to reflect the changes that I made when I was setting it up. So now you'll see that I've got some extra space in here, and the next thing I need to do is bring the bottom of the footer up a little bit. So I'm going to click right on the footer, and I'm going to click on this area far to the right. If I right click, you can see that it is the footer area. So I'm going to just click on it, and you'll see at the very bottom I've got a little round handle, and I can click and drag that handle up and make the footer a little bit shorter so I can conserve space. Now let's go ahead and save the changes that we've made so far. And we've got the spacing set up of our footer. Now let's go ahead and configure our newsletter subscription. So if I right click it, you can see that this is a contact form. And I'm going to go ahead and choose configure to set this form up. When I configure, there's a couple options I have. I can choose the left-hand side to configure to receive an email response, or the right-hand side where I can post this information somewhere like an email list. I'm going to show you how to configure it to get an email response. So what that means is when people fill this form out, it will send a copy of the information to your email address so that you can add them to a database. So I'm going to go ahead and click Edit. And the first thing I need to do is decide what email do I want these results sent to. So I'm going to enter my email address right here. The next thing I need to do is decide what subject it is. So when it sends you an email to tell you that you've got a new subscriber, you need a way to identify that email right away. So what I've done is I've put in there new subscriber, fitness and health newsletter. So what that means is every time I get a new subscriber to this newsletter, it will send me an email at Shelly@builderalldiva.com, and in the subject it will say new subscriber, fitness and health newsletter. That way I'll be able to identify immediately that I have a new subscriber and specifically what newsletter they're subscribing to. The next thing I want to do is choose what action is going to happen after they hit the subscribe now button. So I can choose to take no action, which means nothing will happen, they won't change pages. But if I created a thank you page, I could actually choose to click on this and choose page and then designate exactly what page they would go to when they hit the submit button. If you do not want them to go to a different page, you can leave it as no action. And now everything's filled out, and I'm going to go ahead and click confirm again. And that will set up my newsletter subscription so that for every new subscription I get, I will receive an email. That email will have their email address in it. Now I'm going to go ahead and click save and save again. And now I've got my footer all set up. If I didn't like the colors of the footer, if I wanted to change it, I could right click in this area and make sure I've got the footer area, and then I can change the appearance. And here I can change the colors if I wanted to. Right now it's set as a very dark gray, but I could choose any color I wanted to, and that footer area would change. I'm going to go ahead and keep it the dark gray. And now we've cleaned up our footer. Make sure that before you do anything else, you click save and then save again. And now we're ready to move on to our next video.